Welcome back to another Explainer. Today we're diving straight into the mechanics of a reopened criminal investigation. We often look at the justice system as this perfectly straight line, right? A crime happens, an arrest is made, and a trial just naturally follows. But what happens when that straight line gets challenged? Well, today we're unpacking the Reshmika Paria case out of Koh Tang District. We're going to look at the hard facts and the exact timelines to see exactly how the gears of justice can literally be forced to turn again.
So let's jump right into the central question of this whole explainer. What happens when a victim's family just flat out refuses to accept the initial police findings? This is the anchor for our story today. We're going to follow this incredible chronological arc about one family's absolutely relentless pursuit of justice. It's a real eye-opener that the legal process isn't just about the authorities in charge, it's also about the regular citizens who step up to hold those authorities accountable.
Section 1. The September Incident.
To really grasp the gravity of this investigation, we need to ground it in human terms. 27. That was the age of our victim, Reshmika Pariyar. She was from a place called Batase, which is located in the Duprum Chuchuma Rural Municipality 4 of Koh Tang District. On the night of September 15, 2025, 27-year-old Reshmika was tragically found dead.
Okay, let's walk through this timeline together because the dates here are absolutely crucial. We start on September 15, 2025 when the victim is discovered, and then bam, just 2 days later on September 17, the first arrest is made. The authorities moved incredibly fast. But then, look at this massive gap. Nothing shifts. Literally nothing happens until April 4, 2026 when the family files a complaint at the High Court. Just a week later, on April 11, the court orders a new probe, which led to 3 entirely new arrests just this past Tuesday. That crazy gap between the initial fall investigation and the legal breakthroughs happening months later in the spring, that is exactly where our story really lives.
Section 2. The First Arrest.
So, at first glance, the local district police took what looked like incredibly swift action. On September 17, 2025, which is a mere 2 days after Reshmika was found, police arrested a 16-year-old boy, charging him with involvement in the murder. From a totally administrative standpoint, a rapid arrest like this usually signals to the public that, hey, this case is swiftly being resolved.
And this quote right here brilliantly illustrates the official stance at that time. It comes directly from Police Inspector Nirajan Bosnet. He told the public that the 16-year-old suspect was remanded to judicial custody for trial by order of the district court. I mean, that language is definitive, right? It shows how the case basically appeared to be officially closed from an investigative standpoint. It was securely wrapped up and just waiting for trial at the local district court level. The local authorities had their guy.
Section 3. The Family's Plea. Now, let's look at how this builds through some very precise judicial mechanics. Step 1, on April 4th of this year, the family members of the deceased did something huge. They completely bypassed the concluded local investigation. They went a step above, filing a formal complaint at the High Court in Okoldunga. And critically, they specifically named 3 additional individuals as suspects. Step 2, acting on that very complaint, the High Court issued a directive on April 11, legally compelling the District Police Office to conduct further investigation. And that leads us straight to Step 3, where police are literally forced to take new suspects into custody. The family basically used the higher court's authority to break wide open a closed local case.
Section 4. The investigation expands.
Just look at this stark contrast. It is incredibly revealing. On the left, you've got the initial suspect profile, a single 16-year-old boy arrested right away back in September. On the right, the new suspect profile, 3 adult men arrested months later and solely because of the family's formal complaint. This comparison shows exactly why the family felt compelled to push for further investigation. They clearly believe the initial narrative, that a single teenager was solely responsible, just didn't reflect a reality of what actually happened to Reshmika.
So who actually are these new suspects? Well, the District Police Office in Koh Tang took 3 individuals into custody this past Tuesday. First, we have Heman Pariyar, who is 28 years old and from Batase. Next is Deepak Shrestha, a 25-year-old from Chittapakari. And finally, we have Deepak Rai, also of Batase, though his exact age hasn't been confirmed by authorities just yet. These are the specific individuals the family formally named in their High Court complaint.
And the real kicker is captured in this official confirmation. Police Inspector Nirajan Bosnet openly stated that further investigation into the case has proceeded following an order from the High Court in Okoldunga.
The local police aren't even trying to hide the fact that this renewed activity isn't coming from their own internal reviews. They're actively expanding their probe strictly because of the higher court's mandate, which, as we know, was triggered entirely by the victim's family.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to think about this. How many cases might be closed way too early without the relentless advocacy of a victim's family? The Reshmika Pariyar case is a stark reminder that the justice system is, at its core, a human system. It relies heavily on checks and balances. And sometimes, the absolute most powerful check on that system is a family that just refuses to give up. It really makes you wonder about the vital and often unseen impact of citizen appeals when it comes to the pursuit of truth. Definitely keep that in mind the next time you read a headline about a swiftly closed case. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and stay curious.